So 316L stainless steel watch case back. So this is going to be the artwork that we're going to mark on this, and we're going to go for a little bit of depth, hopefully maybe half a thousandth to a thousandth. Relatively quick for the roughing passes and a little bit slower when we'll finish up with sort of an anneal black mark, and that'll be done real slow at low power. So what I did to do this, it's a little bit of a convoluted setup. I've got the artwork originally, and then I copied the artwork and overlaid it over itself. So you can see on the top left on the object list, I have two hatches of the same artwork, and now you can see them right next to each other just for the sake of illustration. So the first one is going to use pen 0 and I believe pen 2. So if we look at the settings here on the left, you can see hatch 1 for the roughing passes are going to use a bidirectional pattern, crosshatch, 45 degrees, and 0.02 millimeter line spacing. And that'll be pen 0, and we'll look at those settings in just a second. Then for the second hatch, it's going to include a crosshatch 90 degrees, same pattern, and 0.02 line spacing again. Now the difference is this is going to be a lower power setting and a higher frequency setting. So pen 1 is going to be 500 millimeters per second, 75% power, and 20 kilohertz frequency. And then for the follow-up pass on that, we're going to use 200 millimeters per second, 30% power, and 35 kilohertz frequency. And hopefully that'll sort of frost it a little bit and maybe clean it up. And then for this second mark that I overlaid, for the first mark, I set the number of iterations to 2, so hopefully it'll do that first pass and then it'll do the second pass. And I did that as opposed to setting the count over there on the left to a higher number, because I didn't want it to repeat hatch 1, hatch 1, hatch 2, hatch 2. I wanted it to do hatch 1, hatch 2, hatch 1, hatch 2. So for the second hatch, this will be, not the second hatch, the second object, which will have a different hatch, is going to be, let's see, click on this. Okay, it's kind of bogging down here. This isn't the most complex artwork that we've done, but this computer is a little bit old. It's a Core i5 with a 4440. It's got an old GTX 950 graphics card in it, which is fine for most things, but I guess with the slightly tight line spacing in the hatch, it makes it a little bit slow. So there's our bidirectional pattern on this hatch, and this is just going to be our fine pass. I chose an odd angle, 67 degrees. Pen 1, 0.005 degree line spacing, and pen 1 is 100 millimeters per second, 7% power, and 40 kilohertz frequency, so hopefully that'll be sort of a black mark, and it should be kind of non-destructive, non-penetrating, and hopefully it'll just sort of heat the surface and turn it black. And one more thing's probably worth mentioning. I read that there might be some benefit to being slightly out of focus specifically for the anneal mark, and I'm about half a millimeter into the part on my focus, but I have that for every single hatch here, both the roughing and the finishing pass. So we'll see if that makes any kind of difference, what it looks like. Doesn't look bad. It was focused into the part by quite a bit. I'd say half a millimeter.